Hey, welcome to On the Record with Chaii, a Play It Strange podcast. I'm Chaii, artist, producer, creative director, and a Play It Strange alumni. We're here to unpack different corners of the music industry, one step at a time. Let's go. Joining us today is Chris Mac from Six60. Six60 are New Zealand's biggest live act, being the first local band to ever sell out Western Springs Stadium to over 50,000 fans. They've gone on to sell out stadium tours across the country, something no other Kiwi band has achieved, transforming their shows into massive festival-like experiences and breaking attendance records time and time again. Here's our chat with Chris. Chris Mac.
That's me. I'm Chris Mac.
From Six60.
That's also true. Man, you've gotten everything right so far. You're welcoming people back. You got my name right, what my band is. So far, 100%.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, you nailed it. Don't worry about it.
Doing all right, guys.
Yeah, you're doing great. You're better than all right.
Thank you.
You're doing fantastic.
Don't hype me up too much. Now I'm going to forget everything I was going to chat about. But
Have you just been at the gym? You got some gains?
All right. Now, you are and obviously with Six60, you guys are the masters at touring.
Right.
I think you with selling out stadiums to,
Yeah, which is crazy.
crazy,
Yeah.
like all year round, massive shows, massive tours all around the world.
Yeah.
So I thought, today would be a great opportunity to chat about touring life.
Okay, well, hopefully I don't disappoint. We have been doing it a while, you know. We've been touring for about 16 years.
Oh, wow.
And so we've been doing it a while. So hopefully I can be of some assistance and answer some of your questions. And if I can't, we'll just talk about going to the gym again.
I do not go to the gym. But,
Oh, right.
But gym is kind of important. We'll get to
Yeah.
that maybe later about
Sure.
fitness and touring. But
Absolutely.
first, do you remember your first ever experience of touring?
Of touring? Yes, I do. I do. With Six60, because I came on, Hawani Martinga was the original bass player for Six60 with them for about, a year and a bit or something, and they made that original EP, which some people still know. You can find rips of it on YouTube.
Cool.
And he had a whole rugby career going on, so they needed someone to fill in for like 3 months because they just started booking tours. And so I just lost my job because I'm a terrible employee, you see. And so I needed something, and someone said, "Hey, you should try it for this band. They just need something for 3 months." I was like, "Yeah, great." Listened to the music, really liked it. Thought the music was really interesting, and they were doing something I thought that was kind of different to what else was going on. And and so the first gig was play a gig in Dunedin, and then the next day go to Queenstown, and I think the next weekend we had to go to Wellington or Auckland. I can't remember what the whole thing was, but it was like immediately having to tour with guys that I'd never really met before. And but I do remember it. It was so much fun because it was the first time I'd been on the road.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And at that point, you would have obviously had a lot of like live experience under your, or like
I
you
played
would
a
have
lot.
been, playing
Yeah.
a lot already. So you're already familiar with that. So now touring maybe was
That was
newer
new. Yeah,
thing?
the touring, being on the road was new. Obviously, it was something you always want to do. I played in heaps of bands.
Oh,
And when I was in high school, we used to put on shows, like we'd put on gigs, and there'd be, you have to fill out a night, 4 or 5 acts or something just to get people to come. And, they'd be like, we need another band. Let's start another band. And so you'd be in like 2 or 3 bands that night just to fill out so I played a lot, all different genres, from hardcore and punk and, hip hop and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, the touring aspect was different. And then, but yeah, it was a lot of relationship stuff, and also just, we didn't learn, but, eventually figuring out how to pace yourself on tour. Not every night has to be a party.
Yeah, actually, no, that's
can
a
be.
good point. Like, we go back to a hotel and play video games, or board games.
Well, we're all quite. I'm trying to. If I go back to those days, we all would all hang. We'd all go party. Yeah, for sure. Nowadays, it's different. Some people will be like, "I'm tired. I'm going to just chill."
Yeah.
We normally stay around backstage for a while and have a couple of drinks just to debrief, or just have fun, laugh, and be a family, and then, I'll tend to go out maybe and meet some people for drinks, or some friends or whatever, and some of the other guys, prefer to just chill.
But just like obviously you'll be having like a lot of dates in a row, so you're just saving your energy for that.
Yeah, you got to know what your schedule is, especially if we're doing like in Europe or something, and it's like it's pretty back to back to back, and you're just in a new city every night basically, and so you kind of have to pace yourself a little bit, set yourself a curfew, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And like with milestones, you guys have obviously had like a lot of milestones.
Yeah.
Did you believe that as a band you guys would hit those milestones?
Well, it depends what milestones you're talking about. I mean,
Let's talk about the Western Springs Stadium, 50,000 people.
Yeah.
Only band ever in New Zealand to do that, which is incredible.
Yeah, and we did it twice, which was cool. And then back to back after that did Eden Park.
That's right.
And then did Eden Park again after that. So we were the first New Zealand band to do both of those things, and then we just decided to do it twice. Because why not? First time could be a fluke.
Break your...
Obviously not. I mean, I think there's a difference, and I think people get these mixed up between goals and dreams. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we had goals. Like we wanted to sell out tours. We wanted to go to the next venue size. We wanted to get to a point where, all these bits and pieces, build a culture where people will come and see us. So we had these goals, attainable, believable goals, and then we just keep upping those. But we had the dreams, but the dreams are the things you kind of talk about here, and the goals are the things you can project. Cool. But the dreams are like, man, it would be cool, and we'd love to do that. But you got to go goals first and know that you're leading
like step
somewhere.
by step. No one's going from like
and
playing
I think
whammy to a stadium. It's like
exactly.
there's so much goes on in between.
I think a lot of acts kind of make that mistake. Although we would take big swings. After we've been touring a little while, we went, okay, we're going to play. There's a place called Studio here in Auckland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's about 1,000 people. Yeah. And that was a major jump for us at the time. Yeah. I think we were, doing at least only half of that. And so, and everyone was like, who the hell do these guys think they are playing a place like Studio? There was a lot of chatter. People were like, these guys, man, they don't even know how it works, because we weren't really part of the industry.
Yeah.
We weren't friends with people in the industry. We kind of did our own thing. And so people were like, these guys, but people were curious, and we sold it out, and everyone was like, all right, I guess these guys.
Guess we have to like them.
I don't know. People were just like, okay, maybe there's something to this. And so we would just tend to take smaller and smaller, but they were always swings because we had goals.
Yeah.
But
you believed in it.
We wouldn't have gone from 500 to saying a stadium. That's just insane stuff.
It was realistic, but it was also like sometimes when you felt right, take that kind of swing, and then it's a risk. But,
and your capacity grows to the size of the next challenge. Like we didn't know how to play stadiums until we had to play a stadium. Do you know what I mean? And our capacity grew as a live band, and we trusted each other on stage, all those things.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But before you do that, you had no reason to know how to do that. Because if you're on stage in front of 1,000 people acting like you're in a stadium, you look like an insane person. So, you have to play the room where you're at.
Yeah.
But we always did want to make smaller rooms feel massive and big rooms feel small. And that's a thing we still do today. We want to make sure, even if it's 50,000 people, we want to make it feel intimate as possible. And so that comes into
closer to the audience and the fans, and just give them a good show.
Yeah, and how you put your set list together and create moments of intimacy where it's not all just bang, bang, bang. And, I think the best at doing those kinds of big shows, they tend to do that. Yeah. They'll have moments in their show where it becomes very small.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and so, doing a bit of those things. But you only get that by doing the next. Like I just didn't shut up for 7 hours.
No. Podcast.
I don't know why I'm talking to you.
But I think you just wrapped it up so amazingly in terms of like, things are not overnight. Your skills grow, your goal, you've got the goals and you take the steps towards that, which is, I think a lot of people don't see, because it's not the part that we show on these days on the socials or on like, a lot of people, we want to create that experience, but people just see the result.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one of the things, like, it's funny you say that. I just remembered we booked. We were like, okay, let's take this next step up at the time, which was Spark Arena. It's the arena here in Auckland, and that's a big jump from what we were doing. And I remember
was that from Studio? Sorry. Or
No, it would have been bigger than that. I can't even remember.
power station?
Actually, it might have been like doing 3 or 4 power stations.
Okay, cool,
You know, like doing like 3 power stations a weekend or something.
Wow,
And,
okay.
You know, so
Good to know,
doing.
yeah.
So we knew we had maybe the ticket size, but where were we that band? And I remember we got Spark Arena, it was Vector at the time, and we had this new tour manager, so which is all new to us, having this huge crew that we didn't really know about, and them just being like not outwardly, but very obviously being like, this is going to be a disaster. These guys do not know how to be an arena band. But we all were like, no, we'll be okay. It's just we don't know how to rehearse it because, you know, we'd never done it before. So we don't know but we know on the night we'll be able to figure it out. And we did. But it was only because we'd done a few festivals. We're like, no, we can play a bigger room. But anyway.
And you had to kind of, I think that's the crazy thing is like, do you kind of shut off the noises outside of like people, other people in the industry or other people, you know, there's a lot of chat of like, oh, like you said, people are like, oh, I can't believe they're doing like studio. And then when you come to the stadium, there might be people that are working the gig and they're just like, oh, these guys, I feel like, is that kind of sometimes nice? You're just like, yeah, we're about to show.
Oh, the industry for sure. Yeah.
Like, it was
nothing better than telling, like.
Yeah, showing it.
Nothing unites people like a common enemy. And if that's the noise of who do these guys think they are, then that's all we need. That's the oily rag that we need to make our car tick over. And so we'll go.
Yeah. I think those chatters can be quite disheartening, or, you know, it could be like, oh, this person said, you know, our life sucks, or da-da-da. And the way I see it, and a lot of people I've talked to, is like just being in your own world, but also like being aware of the outside. But you're also confident in what you do and the goals and the steps you're taking. It's methodic to a point, and you've got that dream which gives you that force.
Yeah.
And like,
I think you need to you need to be open to notes and to criticism, but you need to have people you trust to take that from. I think if you take it from everyone, you'll never do anything. Because most people don't know what the hell they're talking about. And so you can have a small group of people who don't know what they're talking about and just listen to them because you don't know what you're talking about and neither do they, but maybe as a small group you can figure something out. But if you're taking a wide group of people who don't know what they're talking about, you're just in an ocean of nothingness. So yeah, have some people you trust, and then also just trust yourselves, trust your gut as an artist. Be a tenacity and a self-belief that may be unwarranted. And in many cases it was, but we just believed that we could do the thing we wanted to do. And luckily we had some good people around us at key moments that believed in us.
And nothing's impossible. I always say nothing's impossible.
No.
The person getting in our way is ourselves.
Yeah, except like if you have like a bowl of like I mean, talking savory, if there was a plate of savories, you know, like mini pies, in Australia we call them party pies, we're not even talking. Interview's off.
Your rider, are those on your rider?
No.
And can you explain to people what a
okay,
like,
let's talk
to anyone
riders.
who doesn't know what a rider is?
Yeah, so a rider is, well, it goes from everything from tech stuff that you need to run your show to things backstage, you know, as simple as, you know, bottles of water, you know, hand towels so that when you're on stage, because I'm a big sweater, Machu's a big sweater, and, you know, so really practical things too. Sometimes you're like, well, we like to have a glass of wine after, and we want some beers before, or whatever it is, and we want some snacks so we're not going on, you know, hungry or whatever. Energy stuff. People go nuts, and everyone's heard famous stories about just the most insane. Like I think there's one about Mariah Carey wanting like, you know, like 50 puppies or something.
Was that for real?
I mean, who knows? You know,
knows,
there's so many. If you go online and look up Crazy Right, there's just. And there was a certain point in time where we were like, hey, I guess we could ask for anything. And we had a lot, you know, like we want this spirit and these. And then eventually we were like, we don't need any of that. What are we wasting everyone's time and money for? Like this is what we really want.
Was there a weird item though? What's your favorite item that you would add that, not weird, but you just like, specific
There was
item,
a time when our tour manager put on, and it was.
I think I've heard this.
Actually. Yeah. And it was because his idea was that if he gets backstage and sees that they've remembered to get the rubber ducky, then everything else is going to be okay. It was like a test. I don't know how. I feel like it was more of a power play.
Yeah.
And he knows who he is.
Just 'cause
and
we can,
he knows I love him.
Yeah.
But we've really stripped our writer down now. We're not too extravagant. But maybe I should. No, because that's the other thing. If there's savories backstage, I'm gonna eat them.
And before a show, eating heaps of food.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
There's like a 2-hour at least
The
window.
golden. I say the same. 2 hours before. I mean, vocalists maybe a bit more. Like,
Maybe a
for
bit
me,
longer.
even like 2 hours for vocals, but just the fuller the stomach. So you just can't move around.
I just want to be light on stage. I want to, the show is for the people. It's a collaborative effort, and so I need to give
no
my
pies.
best.
No pies.
No pies, man.
the
After
night.
the show, we have made that a thing now, where we'll have someone go fetch us some food for after the show. Or
Feast.
yeah. That's a good time. We went through one tour and we just had Nando's after every show, and the order started off pretty simple, like I want this, and just was like, get one of everything.
I love Nando's.
Yeah, we would just smash a bunch of Nando's after a show.
Oh. And it's healthy, so you can keep going.
Yeah, not the way we ate it, but yeah, it is healthy in theory.
You don't want to be, fast fooding it.
No.
I like the fried kind of, at least
No,
Nando's
you
is
do
healthy.
want that, but yeah.
You
at least
want it, you
Nando's
crave
is
it, but longevity. When organizing a tour or a live show as a band, how do you assign the roles that aren't music related? Who's in charge of what? I guess they're all kind of music related, but yeah, who's
It's an interesting. I mean, it's changed and evolved over the years, and I wouldn't even say. There's a free, once you name a thing, then it becomes a thing where there's just an understanding that, like we're all involved in the set list, but maybe there's a couple people that are a bit more involved and those kind of things, or show moments, or, because we're big on show, and we put together a show, we've got some things that we do to make a show feel like a show, not just a collection of songs being played at people. And so there's definitely people who are better in tune to those things, and Marlon, for example, is incredible. He's like with putting sounds together, and on the technical aspect, he's really great. But that's also why we're at a point now where we've got a team that we can work with and put stuff together. But yeah, for a long time, those roles were kind of not defined. And I think it's okay to define them if you're in a band or whatever, but sometimes you just find yourself in those slots, and it's better to not bristle against each other. If someone's really passionate about a certain aspect, why bother getting in their way for it? Just because you want to have your finger on something, let people do their thing, and sometimes it's best to get out of the way. Yeah. As long as you're not being lazy and not doing anything. Which, to be honest, I probably have it times and going like, I'm not
it's
really
good to step back sometimes.
much.
What you're saying is okay to let,
Oh yeah, look, if someone's cooking on, because you're saying, like, I'll help you, but I believe what you're doing is good, and we're all behind you.
So when it comes to touring, obviously you've got the band, and then you have the extended crew, and that crew tends to grow over the period of time that you're touring. And can you tell us about what that looked like to start with, and how that grew, and what those roles are? Yeah,
obviously crew size depends on needs, and for a large scale show, like if you're talking about the stadium stuff, that's a very big crew. Like it's enormous. People that will never meet are working on the show. They're building the stage. That they get there days before, and they're building the stage. They're putting the set up and all the stuff. And most of those people, there's some that I try and say hi to people and stuff, and get to know some people. But there's some people you just never see, and and that's fine, I guess. But there's like a production crew who are making sure the stage is done, and that the amps and everything is set up, the drums are right, that all those things is your on stage. And this is the macro, but I'll talk about what happens when you go to smaller stuff as well. Then you've got people behind making sure the show is running well and making sure everything backstage is being looked after. Then you got obviously a lighting person, and they've been setting things up for ages. Then because you got screens running, and you'll have you have all the graphic design stuff. So that's a whole different team. Then the people running that on the night, queuing it up to the songs and the different moments. Then if it's a big enough place, you got cameras and that, and then so you got a whole camera crew and a director, and they're running that. And then, and then all kinds of people, merch. Then you got the merch people, and merch. There's just so many people, and like so many awesome people that you get to know, and just in so many roles. And look, that's really fun. But that's, when it boils down to it, the people that we're most in contact with are, the tour manager, the person who's putting it together, the stage manager, and then also you got your techs, the guys who are making sure your guitars are tuned, making sure the drums are set up to the right way, and during the set they're tuning guitars and maybe swapping guitars for you, or
doing your ears.
Oh yeah, then there's the in-ear monitor and the sound monitor. So those are two separate people, and you get a good relationship with them. If you're running playback, which we have done, and currently at the moment we're not, we've gone full live, which is super fun.
And playback, for people who don't know.
Oh, sorry. Playback is like if there's, because we record a lot of stuff in the studio, and especially for those big stadium shows, you kind of want, maybe there's a string part. You can't be touring around the whole string thing, or, there's too many synth bits or whatever. Maybe it's a little percussion-y thing. You can't have 700 people on stage, so it will just run in your ears, and you've got to click, and it's going out to the wider audience, and so it just sounds bigger. And so you have a separate person who's running that. And they're also, while you're rehearsing for the show, even on the run, you're going, we need to shave off some time here, or maybe we should do that more time. So they're editing. And so it's a big job. All of those jobs are big jobs. None of them are small, from the people running the cables and stuff. Those are really important, because the smallest thing, it's a house of cards, one card goes down and it all goes down. But then once you start scaling back, so we'll go on tours that are maybe a little smaller, maybe it's in Europe or the States or whatever, we tend to just take, a couple of stage techs, and like a sound guy, or, so we try and make it as small as possible. But really what you need to know is what is important to you. Don't look at what other people are doing. It's so important. At the start, you're probably just going to have a sound guy. And so choose that person wisely.
At the start
you probably don't have that.
The house engineers.
Yeah, you might just have someone who has got your back. You can call them a manager or a tour manager. It's probably good to have someone doing that if you can afford to bring someone on the road. Yeah. If you can't, then someone in your party needs to do that. Yeah. Just to be able to talk to venues and talk to the sound guy saying, hey, this is what we want. Talk to the house lighting guy. And then once you scale up, then you maybe take a tech and a sound guy and maybe a lighting guy. But it really just depends on what you need for your show and what's going to bring the best out of your performance. Because it's not about, people aspire to have these big crews. And sometimes, honestly, it's like, no, what do we need? Because they can become very bloated. And, and you get really comfortable. And sometimes we challenge ourselves and say, wait, do we really need this and this and this? What can we do, with the least we have? Yeah. Rather than being complete prima donnas, being like, but I demand, like you can.
You want to still be across things and, have your hands on things and feel.
You just don't need to be pampered all the time, but it's fun.
I love that. That's so cool. Like I would have, it's so refreshing to hear that, with the 660 being a huge, humongous band, like it's so nice and refreshing to hear that you guys like to keep that side, the crew side, when in Europe,
when possible as well,
keep it intimate and still be across things and do things as band members.
And totally. And you also don't want to make it. You want to get down to a level that is manageable financially and also practically, because there's. If you're in Europe and you're on a bus, there's only so many beds in the bus, that kind of thing. But also you do need to look after the crew and not make it so skeleton that you're burning them out. So you do have to balance that of like maybe we're doing 3 or 4 shows in a row. One guy, that's going to be too much, so it's worthwhile having a second person just to make sure you're looking after.
Nice.
People.
And it's obviously like, what the size of the shows as they grow,
Yeah.
financing, it costs more to put on the shows, but you're potentially making more money at this point to put back into those shows.
Yeah,
and
it's all scalable, and
scaling.
you have to figure out where you're at, and but it's stuff you figure. It's trial and error. You'll do a show and you go, wow, we could really use someone helping us on this aspect of it, and then you figure that out.
Now, speaking of we were talking about the gym before. I don't know
Yes.
if it was rolling before, but how do you stay on form for the shows? I mean, it doesn't have to be just physical; it could be mental.
Yeah.
Just how do you keep yourself? I guess because these are really long tours and years of.
Yes.
It's not easy. Early flights, late nights. It's tough on the body, tough on the mind.
I mean, early on, we didn't do anything. Early on, we were just we'd go out, we'd have some drinks, we'd meet fans or whatever, and it's just fun, And I guess as you get slightly older, but also just as the tours get a bit more demanding, you start prioritizing, making sure, let's eat right, let's make it a plan to exercise, and everyone's exercising in different ways. Some of the boys love boxing.
Cool.
So they'll take boxing gear and they'll spar, and they do full things, and that's not really my cup of tea. So I'll, I like running, and it's great when you're on tour and you're maybe in a new place, or maybe somewhere you've only been once or twice. Going for a run around a city is awesome, because you're like, it's just a cool way of doing it. You get very good at understanding what gyms that are near you might let you in for free, because you just go, hey, we're on tour, just here for one night. Do you think I could just come do a workout? And then if you get someone sympathetic, they go, yeah, come on in. Or they go, no, you got to pay, and you swallow that cost, and you go, all right, it's like $20. But it's
20 euros. That's
honestly,
$50.
sometimes it is steep in Europe. But then you figure some of those things out, and then you're like on the group chat, like, oh no, I found a gym, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do try. We make an effort to exercise most days. The shows themselves are kind of exercise as well, but yeah, I think mentally that's really good for us, and we don't tend to do it together, except for the guys who are maybe boxing. But we'll often, even without talking, you'll be like, oh, I found a good gym. You walk in, you see like two other guys on the bed, like, hey, you found the same gym. All right, good.
Oh, cool. So it's like you time, it's not just
very much,
physical, it's a mental you time. You're on your own schedule, just so you're not like on the band schedule all the time, because that's obviously on tour. That can feel like you're always on a schedule. Sometimes it's nice to be like, I'm free for this moment to go and run.
That's a good point.
And
the schedule of it is definitely, that's a very good point, is you often be here, do that, blah, blah, blah. And when you get a chance to do something for yourself, and sometimes that's hanging out together, being like, sure, get a meal or find somebody to grab a beer or whatever. But sometimes, for your mental state, it's good just to have some alone time. So maybe it's you take a book. Some of the guys love playing games. They've got a setup that they play like Rugby 09, like this old game, or, UFC game, or whatever it is. Everyone's kind of got their thing. I like to go for walks, and everyone's kind of got their own thing. Maybe find some art galleries, whatever it is, to give yourself some space. So you're not, because it is, especially, you're with each other all the time. And as much as we love each other and we're very good at touring now, there's still days where you're like, yeah, I just need to not maybe be.
Yeah. Because most of the year you're touring. So like imagine if you're, when do you get that alone time? So I guess you kind of try to find those moments while you're on tour, because okay, at least 8 months of the year added up, you might be touring this year. If you're not in the release cycle, you're like, this is going to be my touring
we're touring
time.
a lot, and we're just together.
And everyone knows that.
Yeah. And so you end up, different pairs will go off and do different things. Yeah. And then you get back from tour and you say goodbye at the airport, and then you don't speak. And people are like, that's so weird. You're like, no, we're not talking. Because
everyone's got, their life,
together.
Obviously.
Yeah. Like every day for ages. Yeah. But I think that's how we've survived, is we've kind of realized when we need our own time, and noticing when other people maybe need their own time, and being like, okay, they're looking like they're not.
It's different. It's just like respecting each other's, like just seeing, and I guess once you get to know each other to that degree, that well, like a family member, you can kind of see. You can sense it. I don't know. When we're on tour, I can just like sense.
Right?
You just know. You just like, cool. There's like a telepathic thing of like, we're just branching out now, or it's like that person.
You can feel it when they walk in the room.
We'll go out, but we won't force you to come out with me. It's just like, you're like, oh no, Chris is.
Yeah. I'm doing my own things tonight.
I can tell. I know he needs to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that for sure, where it's like, oh, no one's at the venue. I'm just going to go lie on the couch and like looking after yourself. Just put headphones in, listen to a podcast or something, and just wander the streets. But yeah, if it's not the kind of thing you like, I think just find whatever it takes for you to feel good. So maybe it is, knocking off the fried foods. Maybe it is.
I do limit that, yeah.
Make sure you're drinking water. Hydrate.
Water.
Yeah, hydrate constantly.
Yeah.
It's actually really important, and in the early days, I wish we did it more, but we just didn't know what we were doing. So, learn from our mistakes.
I love that. One day, I just know the importance of the physical side because I love the feeling afterwards.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I love the clarity and the mental feeling afterwards, and I think that's my goal. Anyway, to start doing something, pushing myself even when you don't have it, and you're just like, oh, we just did like these flights, and we've got a show, and you've got this one, and I know people go on tour and they've got that 1 hour gap. It's so tempting to just like sit on a couch or lie down in your hotel bed.
Hey, but sometimes that is the right thing. Sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah.
You got to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't try and force something that. If you need to rest that day, just rest.
Rest all
just
the days.
blob. Yeah, okay. Maybe sometimes don't listen to that part of your body.
Yeah. Well, a snack will really encourage me to go walk to a shop close by.
That's a really good point. If you're not someone who wants
I don't
to
Uber
walk,
Eats, and I'm like, let's go.
Find the yummiest snack that you can walk to, like it's a 40-minute walk or something. That's your goal.
What advice would you give artists wanting to get out onto the road? Obviously, if it could be aimed at, someone in high school and they're doing they're in bands and touring trying to get into touring. What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, my advice is, it's really simple, but not so easy. If you know what I mean. Is you need to do it yourself. You can't wait for someone to ask you to do anything in the music industry in general. Never wait to be asked. I mean, that was our motto always. We just did. We went and booked shows before we had anything on the radio.
Yeah.
We just went and booked shows. We'd talk to people who were promoting shows. We'd get on that bill. We just got out there and did the hours. I think a lot of people make the mistake of like, well, if I do this and I get a song out and then I get to tour, like, just go do it. You know what I mean? You're not going to get better at something by thinking about it. You got to go do it.
That is so well said.
And trust me, you'll have some terrible gigs.
Make things happen for yourself.
Yeah.
They'll be
and be prepared. We literally the other night, we caught up the band, and we were drinks, and we were going through what were the worst shows we've ever played, and we had so much joy talking about these horrible shows that you go, oh man, in the moment that kind of sucked, but that's what made us a good live act. Get better at the thing you want to do.
Have all the things go wrong. Have all the things go wrong.
We had a gig recently. I won't say which one it was, but there was a show quite recently that was one of the worst shows we've ever played. But everything that could go wrong went wrong. One of those. But I mean, thankfully we'd been doing it for so long that we
experience. You can do it in your sleep.
Whatever. Let's just keep playing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think it shows on people's face when they're starting out and all the things that go wrong. It's how you manage that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, let me do this.
Yeah.
Okay, there's this face. The face.
Yeah.
We've all done the face, but I've trained it out of me, which is that they know there's something wrong and they're like, no, don't do the face.
Default to a smile.
Either people didn't know there was something wrong and you just told them, which is bad, or they knew something was wrong, so you don't need to talk about it. Just get on with the show. Don't do the face. No apologetics. If I see you do the face, I will talk to you.
Yep.
Don't do it.
Even if
it's the most. It really angers me. People I'm very passionate about this. Don't do the face. Don't allow the moment to get in the way of what you're doing. If something's going wrong, deal with it if you need to deal with it, or move on if you don't.
It's a nervous response, I feel like, for a lot of people, especially if it's their first time and they haven't had the experience to then do that. I think it's a train your mind. I feel like it's a train your mind to a default. It's kind of like people's resting. I can't say it. Never mind. Train your mind to a resting smile.
Yeah,
a resting laugh,
or just
like
it's
or just
what it is it's
poker face. Poker face.
You are trying to evoke an apology and an okay thing from the audience, but what you've just done is betrayed the moment. You are now no longer the artist who is in control. You are now shrunk, and so you need to be in control of your stage, and you need to be in control of the moment. And here's what I will say is that nothing can go wrong. So I know I just said that everything went wrong, but it now is part of the show. So if something goes wrong, that's now the show. The show didn't get screwed up. The show has become what it's just become. So embrace that part of it. And you know what? There's something kind of rock and roll. If your bass isn't working, to sling that. But everyone knows it's not working. Sling it off. Try and fix it. This is happening. Like this. That's the thing. Yeah. Oh my God, we're back on. Now that's part of the show, and everyone will be like, oh my God, we were there this night and the thing fell out and he kind of made, that's now the show. Don't let technical moments or even your own mistakes ruin a show. Make that the show.
It can also, it's a great point, because for me it was like a pivoting point in my career happens to come from a really failed show.
Yeah.
So I was in Australia playing a show, and at this point I have all these offers from these major labels. Some have, like BMG had driven like 3 hours. Head of BMG,
Right.
Heath, love Heath. He drove up 3 hours, and everything you can imagine went wrong. Power
It always
cuts.
does, yeah.
They were running everything off one power. It was like power cut, buzzing, feedback. And at this point, obviously, I've had like years of like performing, so I do put it down to that as well. But I was like, it stopped, and I was like, anyone know? Set ever, and I played the whole set after everything came back. But anyway, I was like, anyone know how to beatbox? The MC chick who was like running the event, she's like, oh well, she comes up, beatboxes, I start freestyling.
Great.
While the boys are trying to like,
And that's the most
there.
memorable show. If the show went perfectly, way less memorable than
it
you
would have sounded
improvising
so
it.
bad, but it was just the thing of just like pulling through, and till this day,
Yeah, that's a memory.
Heath keeps telling me, he's just like, that was the moment I knew, like, we
Great.
even wanted to sign you even more from that.
What
like,
a great practical version of me blabbering on about a thing that you actually had an example for.
for me, I was just like, hey, it's all happened. But yeah, the drums came in, the power started surging back, and the drums came in
Fantastic.
on top of the freestyle. And it was just like this moment, and I still played a 40-minute set.
Good for
even though
you.
there was,
That's
like,
awesome.
buzzing and
Now that's-
feedback, and
That's a pro. That's what you want to aspire to be right there. I'm
yeah,
inspired. That's
it
very
was
good.
it was a pivotal point as well, though. Like,
Yeah.
So
Good for you. That's
if
awesome.
I had quit,
Never quit.
yeah.
Never quit.
Thank you so much for that. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on my own tangent, but
No, I love
thank
that.
you.
That was a great
Thank
story.
you so much for the chats.
Is this it? We're done?
It was so good to have
Should we do
you
another
on the
half
chats.
hour?
Another hour. Let's
Another
get a
hour?
podcast.
Okay, and another 2 hours. Let's go.
Because you can, honestly, we could talk about this. There's so many things with touring. It's not as simple as just things just happen and it's what people see. But it is beautiful. It is beautiful. It's a challenge and it's fun and it's...
I love talking about it because
Yeah.
I love touring, and it's been great to chat about it. And I can't really do another 2 hours because I've got to go pick up my dog at the groomers.
And also, you guys aren't, we were talking before, you're not touring much this year because you're in
We've got
writing mode.
Yeah, we've got a few shows coming up. We've got Hastings coming up,
cool.
and we've got the Sydney Opera House Steps. So if you're able to get to any of those, but yeah, we're in writing mode. We're going to do a new album, and watch the space.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much,
Can you
Chris
do a double
Mac.
clap? Can you double clap?
I'm double jointed, so shit. Chris Mac, everyone, from Six60.